These are just some basic tools that help me when I'm editing, and there's something that even someone who's a non-editor could learn for content that I will just talk about. The first very trending kind of content is boomerang videos, and obviously there's a very simple manual way to create it if you're actually not using an app to do it. So you find a portion that you like. So for me, it's specifically just this part. So I'm going to cut out the in and the out. Have that ready. All I need to do now is press Alt and drag it. Press Alt again. Drag it as many times as you want it to be copied. So for me, I'll go for like four different times. It's not looped yet. It's just playing from start to finish 4 times, right? I'm just creating a nest just so that I can separate this from any other clips I may use or anyone else wants to use. So I'm calling this boomerang. Now to edit this further, I have to double click. Here are those 4 clips. Now to actually turn it into a boomerang and to have it loop, every alternate video should be playing in reverse. Over here, click reverse speed. So now looping in reverse. I leave the 3rd video and then do this with the 4th video over here. So it's a looped video. So this is a very easy basic way to create your video into a boomerang. Now when you want to render it, you have 2 options. You can, if you have a Mac, you can press Command M or Control M to render it. Now there are 2 kinds of GIF options. So just to clarify, do not click on the option that only says GIF. It's better to click on animated GIF. The other one will create a burst of JPEGs. This will create an actual GIF. You can adjust the name and where you want to save your video. Once done, you export the file. Then you will have a GIF of this footage. If you want it, since you have already looped it, you can also render it. 8.264 is our standard rendering format, and then in that render you can choose high quality, you can even choose 4K, you can choose 1080p. So you'll have a video format of the boomerang, and this is a fun and quick efficient way that you can use to manually create boomerangs from any clips you like without using applications. I also really like to play around with speed, but not just the speed of the videos. I mean, that's pretty easy to do, creating a slow motion video, or if a video is already very slow, fastening it up. Speed plays a big role when you want to put basic text onto your video. Now, if I don't adjust the speed, I want a title to move from left to right, it might look a little choppy. This is what a normal video looks like without actually rendering it. How you can adjust the speed is when you click on this title that I made, you can see that there are adjustments over here of the movement, right? You can make it softer. You can make the start a little fast over here and make the ending a little slow so that it doesn't stop abruptly. Or you can do the opposite. You can make it start slow and quickly end super fast. Now, how we're going to do that? There's an example here. I wanted to start my title from left a little fast and then end in a slow motion. And this is how it looks. It still gives more movement rather than just animating a title from left to right. Another thing that I found very recently, which I have started incorporating, is if I have a lot of footage or even just a couple of shots and I want to adjust a new footage, what we typically do is we drag and drop a shot from our project onto our timeline, right? So this is one shot that was already there, and now, for instance, I want another shot. I'll drag and drop manually. Now, sometimes when I have a very large timeline with a lot of shots, I want to drag and drop. Sometimes it's hard to place it because you might place it in the middle of the shot. You might have some space left when you zoom in, and there might just not be complete accuracy. A very easy way that I discovered is when you double click on a footage, it opens here. It's called a source file. And what you can now do is you can drag and drop the source file onto your actual program, your program monitor, already choose automatically where you want it placed. So if you want it placed right before the current shot on the timeline, you click on insert before, and it's going to insert the entire shot before your selected video. Similarly, if you want it to be replaced, you can replace it like this. If you want it right after the shot, you can have it right after the shot too. If you want it in the middle of the shot and to break it up into two, you can click on the middle. So what this will do is it's going to add the shot right in the middle of your actual video. This is interesting. Again, it's more accurate than dragging and dropping, especially in situations where you have a lot of shots. So this has helped me a lot, especially ever since I learned this. Another quick tip that also helped me is sometimes when you have a lot of layers on your timeline, you can have a lot of audio layers and a lot of video layers. When you want to move one, it's hard to figure out sometimes the exact timeline of where you want to move it, or sometimes you end up moving a lot of layers that you do not want to, and it's just very haphazard. So there's a quick hack that I also discovered for this not too long ago. For instance, if I only want to move this purple layer, which is the silhouette, I don't want to move the audio or the top layer over here. The first thing I'll do is lock the layers I don't want to move. Locked. The only layers I want to move, all I have to do is press A, click. It's going to automatically highlight the shots that I want, and then you can easily move all the shots selected rather than manually clicking on each layer and making sure it's highlighted and moving them automatically. Similarly, if I wanted to move this footage to the left, you click on Shift A. And then you can move all of the footage back. This also saves time and removes any chances of error while moving your footage. There are many ways to create a letterbox. Letterboxing is a personal choice for a lot of editors. It creates a cinematic effect, and with more and more smartphones being introduced, we notice that their dimensions are getting more and more horizontal. And again, there are many ways that editors can use Premiere to add it. I use a very quick hack, which is pretty easy. In your project section, there's an option to create new items, and then there's an option to create a black video. Press OK, drag and drop the black video onto your timeline. Right now it's covering up your screen because it's the exact same size as your actual sequence, which is 1920 by 1080. What you do is you go on the effects and you cancel out uniform scale so that you can only control the height. When you control the height, you can set it to any kind of a number. Let's go with 15, and you bring it exactly to the top of your frame. Now in the timeline, you drag and drop it upwards or downwards, and when you've made a copy, you drag the other one to the other side of your screen and you create a letterbox. It's super easy. It doesn't take too much time. And yeah, I personally do like having letterboxes. It depends on the type of video you're editing, but if it's a cinematic video or corporate video, I like incorporating letterbox formats into my footage. So yeah, that was the last tool I wanted to talk about.